Greetings, Andy here again, and welcome back to my Advent Calendar countdown of favourite new releases of 2024. And today is day 19 and my number 6. And at number 6 we have yet another old favourite band of mine, the Decemberists, who hail from Oregon, and their album, I have to read this because it's too long for me to remember, As It Ever Was, So It Will Be Again. That's a record of stories, shall we say, and with quite a prog leaning, not out and out prog, but a definite leaning there, particularly on the final track. And this is what I said about it when it came out in June. Now, just to clarify, I've inserted a couple of clarifications. I think I said one of the tracks, and also I think I was a bit misleading in hindsight on describing one of them, so I've just inserted some clarifications there, and I've done a new sample for this one as well, because I wasn't very happy with the original. It wasn't a good recording. And it's the Decemberists' new album, which is a bit wordy. As It Ever Was, So It Will Be Again. And in some ways that sort of sums up the Decemberists. They're a band which tells stories. Every track is like a bit of a novella. It's a story. They're led by a guy called Colin Malloy, and obviously, many lyricists are really poets, and they're writing poetry to music, and that's how they want it seen. He's a storyteller. He writes prose, and these songs on here are all stories. They have a beginning, a middle, and the end. They have a narrative, and that doesn't necessarily suit everyone. I really like it, though. I'm not necessarily a poetry buff, so this suits me. I like a bit of fiction, and there is often a factual theme on there which he's talking about. And quite often it's historical. This is their 9th studio album, so they've been around for, 20 odd years. I've got 2 sort of roughly in the middle, but they're purely digital MP3 albums, which I have on my server. I do listen to them quite often, but this is one I wanted to get on vinyl, and I'm glad I did. And it's a real vinyl experience, which I'll explain. If you don't know them, they're sort of often described as sort of folk rock, indie folk rock. I've seen them described, and I sort of get that, but they're a bit broader than that. So, for example, the opening track on here is called Burial Ground, and the music to that story is really Latin beats. It's the only track with that, but it's based around Latin beats. So I just to clarify what I just said on that first track, about that first track. The first time I listened to it, I was quite taken by those sort of Latin beats which appeared. But in hindsight, I overplayed that. So when I've listened to it again a couple of times, it's not, the Latin beats aren't as to the fore as maybe I suggested. In fact, when it kicks off, it really is sort of folk rock. I mean, they are considered a folk rock band. It really is folk rock to start with, and of the sort of 60s Laurel Canyon style. But then there's a point in there where it morphs into some Latin beats, which is weird, but typically Decemberists. The final track on side 4 is 19 and a bit minutes, so it's what I would describe effectively as a 20-minute prog epic. Now, it's not all prog, because they're not a prog band, but it's got definite prog sort of emphasis on it, and I'll come back to that. And in between time, you've got folk, you've got rock, you've got quite a lot of Americana. In fact, there's one story in there. I can't remember which one is it. I think it's the track Black Mariah. It is an English-themed story about, you know, historical, and it refers to the Thames and it refers to the Humber, so two British rivers. But it's got the music is definitely Americana on that one, which is a bit of a sort of a juxtapose somehow. So I got that track completely wrong. It's not the Black Mariah that I was thinking of. It is a track called William Fitzwilliam, and as I say, it's a story about England going back to Tudor times, but the music is Americana. In fact, you know, it is, to be fair, Americana pushing country. It's not. I don't think it's out and out country, but it's sort of definitely getting that way, and I think it's quite intriguing, even if it, you know, the story doesn't quite go with the music. The whole thing still works together in my humble. So I've included a sample of that at the end instead of the original one I did. Yeah, so that prog epic I described at the end, Joan in the Garden, is absolutely magnificent. And that has Mike Mills, from, you know, originally from REM, on piano and backing vocals, as he graced many an REM song. So he wasn't just the bassist; he was the sort of multi-instrumentalist and was Stipe's backup singer effectively. This album it's a real vinyl experience, because it's one which you want to, you know, I like tactile stuff, and this is really tactile. It's really thick card. It's got a lovely feel. It's got great artwork, which is sort of inset, or no, not embossed, it's whatever the word is. It's a full double, it feels nice, and it comes with, I'll just put that down, it comes with a full lyric booklet, really good quality. And it's on one, I very rarely sit and read the lyrics as I'm listening to music. It's the music which gets me, but these stories, I actually sit down and I'm reading it as he's singing it. Just absolutely love it. And it is very resplendent. As I say, it's a full double. And it's sort of maroon, but they call it Fruit Punch. The colour Fruit Punch, which is a bit bizarre. As I say, it's got, I don't know how many tracks there are. I haven't counted them, but there's 4. So there's 4 on each of the first 3 sides and 1 on the last side, which does take up the full side. So it's an absolutely fabulous album, well worth checking out.
And don't go out wandering, for the ghosts hover around you, the Howards and the Seymours, the Poles and Boleyns. William Fitzwilliam emerged from his arbor, illumining shows such as he'd never seen.
So that was the Decemberists at number 6, and come back tomorrow. I'm going to record that now and post it tomorrow for my as we enter my top 5 with my number 5. So see you tomorrow. Cheers.